So let's keep going. And this one's like our first problem. Let's start with our exponential expression that we're given. So 5 squared over 5 to the 8th. And when they have the same base and you're using division, you subtract the exponents. So you could go through a simple example with smaller numbers if you want to convince yourself of that. But in general, it's true that when you have x to the a over x to the b, that this is really just x to the a minus b. Another way to see this is that you're dividing by x to the b power. So you're dividing by x b times, and you could rewrite that with a negative exponent. And then it's really just that first rule you learn when they have the same base and you're multiplying, you add the exponents. And so it's another way to think about this. For instance, this is really just 5 squared times by 5 to the minus 8. And now combining the exponents, we will add them now that we have a product. So you get 5 to the 2 plus negative 8, or really 2 minus 8, which is 5 to the minus 6 power, which of course we could write as 1 divided by 5 6 times. So now going to our answers, you can see choice letter A, we finished with that part, so that's correct. And 1 to the minus 6, or really 1 to any power, is equal to 1. So B is not going to be correct. In this one, you have an exponent to an exponent, so we can multiply those and get 5 to the minus 6. But that's what we had, so C looks correct. And let's just check D just to make sure. And for this one, again, you have an exponent to an exponent, so we'll multiply. And 2 times minus 8 is minus 16, which is not what we had. We were looking for 5 to the minus 6. So it looks like choice A and C are correct. And I do encourage you, even when you find 2 right answers, check the other 2 just to make sure that they're wrong. Because you never know when you're going to make a mistake, and this is a good way to check your work. Now let's do one final example. And for this one, we have 1/5, and it looks like we're multiplying it 4 different times. So if we have, let me just rewrite that, and I'll use a brighter color. So we have 1/5 multiplied 4 times. So remember the definition of exponents, that they're really just repeated multiplication or division if it's a negative exponent. We are repeatedly multiplying 1/5, and we're doing it 4 times. So we can just write that as 1/5 to the 4th power. And we could also recognize that we're dividing by 5 4 times. So this is equivalent to 5 to the minus 4 power. Since remember, another way to look at this, if you actually just multiply the fractions, you get a 1 up top, and you're multiplying 5 4 times, so that's 5 to the 4th down below. And when you have a positive exponent down below, you can bring it to the numerator and make it negative. But the basic principle way of seeing this is that you're dividing by 5 4 times, which can be rewritten with that negative exponent, because that means repeated division. So we have this 5 to the minus 4. So now let's go through our examples here and see which are correct. We have an exponent to an exponent, so we're going to multiply that. And minus 2 times 2 is negative 4, which is what we have. So that looks correct. This one, we have an exponent to an exponent, which again will multiply. But anything times 0 is 0. So this is 5 to the 0, which is just 1, which is not what we had. And in this one, we have a 5 up top and 4 5s down below. You can even write this out since we have smaller numbers. So multiply in the denominator 5 4 times. And notice you can cancel one of the 5s out. And so you're left with 1 over 5 3 times, multiplied 3 times in the denominator, which is 1 over 5 cubed, which could be rewritten as 5 to the minus 3. So that's not what we have. You can also use exponent properties since you have the same base and different exponents, and you're dealing with division here, you can subtract the exponents. So 1 minus 4 would be negative 3. And again, that's not what we have. Let's check the last one. Notice we have the same base, so we can add the exponents because we have multiplication. And 2 plus negative 6 is going to be -4. So this is 5 to the -4, which we would expect based on the fact that we eliminated 2 of them, and 2 have to be correct. So D is the other right answer here.